Hello everyone, it's been a while. I'm glad to be back. I hope everybody's doing well. For every good news, there's also a bad news. And today we're going to speak about both the good news and the bad news. The good news being that Dybala's contract is very, very close to being extended. And the bad news is striker, still no striker. That's the bad news. And look, I just don't get how we still haven't signed a striker. And I have kind of started to listen to some podcasts of some Roma journalists trying to break down the main reason of why we still don't have a striker in our team. And I'm going to try and explain it here because it makes no sense. It was the first position we had to cover the second time he got injured. It's now the 24th of July, almost the 25th. And we still have no striker in our team. That's a problem. And we have to break it down in this stream. But obviously, as I just said, for every good news, there's a bad news. The good news is that Dybala's contract is very, very close to being extended. And this is something which we will talk about today. I'm at that stage where, look, 2 weeks ago, I said, this is going to be a crucial week for a striker. And we didn't sign a striker. Last week I said this week was going to be a crucial week for a striker. And the striker didn't happen. I'm not going to say anything this week in the hope that this week could actually be a crucial week for our striker. Scamacca, potentially. But that's something which we'll get into today. But let's start with the good news. Nobody wants to start with bad news. Let's start with the good news. The good news is that Dybala is most probably going to be handcuffed to this team and this city until 2026. His agents are in Rome. They've arrived in Rome a few days ago. Some sources are saying Pinto has met with Dybala's agents today. Some sources are saying that Pinto is going to meet Dybala's agents in these coming days. With that being said, they're in Rome and they've got a big objective. Both Pinto and his agents have got an objective. And that unified objective is to increase his salary, extend the contract, and eliminate the release clause. 3 steps which have to be successfully followed out. Again, I'm not going to give a deadline to this, but most probably, if everything goes to plan, maybe this week we can end it and seal it off. But let's speak about this, because basically, Pinto and the Fredkins, Dybala earns 6 million rand. Now, the second Dybala signed his contract 1 year ago, Dybala was going to earn 4.2/4.5 million. However, his salary is now 6 million because he achieved those other millions in terms of bonuses. So Dybala has now a base salary of 6 million, which makes him one of the most paid players in this team. Rightly so, because he's clearly the best player in this team. The Fredkins have given the green light to extend his salary even more and pay him more money. However, by doing this, they expect Dybala and his agents to compromise and higher that release clause, or in better case scenarios, even eliminate it. And that's something important to say. So, Pinto's going to meet with Jorge Anton this week, and the objective is to eliminate that release clause by giving him a higher salary. I mean, we've said it many times, how Dybala is at the center of this project, and Dybala is a king after his first season in Rome. So there is no reason of why Dybala would leave. There is no reason of why Mourinho can't have Dybala in his team for another season. And yeah, he's gonna sign that contract until 2026. I hope that the release clause gets eliminated. I don't care if it's get hired or it gets eliminated. The first thing is that those 12 million of release clause have to vanish away. Now, if that means hiring it or eliminating it, I really don't care. But those 12 million have to go, because it's out of this world that a player like Dybala has a release clause of 12 million. And I'm actually very surprised that big clubs haven't activated that release clause. I know a big part of this is because Dybala wants to stay, but if big clubs really wanted him, they could have easily triggered that release clause. So I am happy. I'm happy that I'm surprised and happy that no big club has triggered that release clause. But yeah, that's as what we have to say about Dybala. There's one thing which I am gonna point out and break down in this Dybala topic. So basically, we're being told that the Fredkins have basically given the green light to extend his salary even more in order for him to eliminate that release clause. So in other words, the Fredkins are ready to give him even a higher salary than 6 million in order to eliminate that release clause. And that is what you call a financial sacrifice. Now, this puts to mind that this ownership, it's not like they don't want to take financial sacrifices, but they want to take intelligent financial sacrifices. And they have understood that Dybala is the center of this project, and that's why they've come towards and accepted this financial sacrifice. Going back to the Morata discussion, as much as the manager really wants him, we would need to take a massive financial step to give a contract to a player who's 31 years old. That isn't an intelligent financial sacrifice, if you see what I mean. Because, you see, the Morata topic is very complicated. Because on the one hand, you've got a player who the manager really wants, and if a manager wants a player, he needs to get that player. But on the other side, getting Scamacca would be 10 times more intelligent than getting Morata. And that's what the Fredkins are trying to make Jose understand. Because I already said this in the latest Morata video, how buying Morata would basically mean triggering a transfer market operation, which would, at the end of everything, cost around 60 million euros. 20 million is the release clause. We would need to give him a salary of 6 million. The contract was until 2027. That's 4 years. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 plus 20 is 44. Rounded up, 45. That is 45 million euros spent by a team who is targeted by financial fair play, a team which cannot be spending too much money because we've got thousands of debts. Do we really want to spend and take this financial sacrifice of spending 45 billion to sign a 31-year-old player? Again, I'm not saying I don't want Morata, because as I've said many times, I would take either Morata and Scamacca without even looking at the situation. I've said it many times, I'd be very happy with any of the two. But getting Scamacca would be more intelligent in terms of our sustainability. And that is exactly why we've seen a Morata delay. Because, rightly so, the Fredkins don't want to spend 40 million for a player who's 31 years old and therefore is not in his prime anymore. And that's the easy breakdown as of why we have no updates on Morata, and we will most probably have no updates on Morata. Anyways, I'm done with that Dybala good news thing. I mean, I agree with, I'm sorry mate, I don't know what your name is. I don't speak or write Arabic. I believe that is Arabic, so I don't know how to pronounce that. But he's saying, honestly, giving Dybala higher wages 10 times better than buying Morata. It's more important, it's more strategic, it's more sustainable. Because Dybala is at the center of this project. So buying Dybala, in my view of our transfer window, is like, not buying Dybala, extending Dybala's contract would be like getting a new signing. And people who disagree with that, you're wrong, because eliminating that release clause is like buying a new player because of how important he is in this team and in the circumstances of this team. The good news is that, unfortunately, I'm not being told, but I'm gathering the impression and the information that Ibanez is becoming the key to our entries more than ever in this transfer window. I have heard at least 3 different journalists say that if we don't sell Ibanez, we won't unlock any striker. That is worrying. That is very worrying. And I 100% hope that these journalists are wrong. But I am not making this up when I say that I have heard at least 3 different journalists say that if we don't sell Ibanez and if we don't get the money from Ibanez, we are not unlocking the striker move. We're not unlocking a potential Morata or a potential Scamacca. Now again, Scamacca would be a loan move, so there are a few different ideologies to this which I wouldn't get. With that being said, this is a crucial week for Scamacca. If we don't get a striker at the end of this week, I genuinely don't know how to explain this anymore. This is the week. I mean, I've said this for at least the past 3 weeks. But now, let me highlight this even more and emphasize this even more. This has to be the week. We are playing our first friendly game in Portugal on Wednesday. This has to be the week where we get a striker. Does that mean this has to be the week we sell Ibanez to get that striker? I don't know. I don't care. But by next Sunday, we need a goddamn striker. It's as simple as that. Because time keeps on dragging on. Time doesn't stop. Time ticks. Time goes. The start of the season is coming. We've got like 3 weeks until the start of the season. Maybe a bit more. That's not much. You know, that's time ticking. And that also means the more time we take, the less time the striker has to orientate and adapt itself to our system. That's why, I'm going to say it again, this has to be the week we get a striker. If we don't get a striker by the end of this week, I am going to be very, very worried. I have to be very worried. You know but before tackling the Ibanez thing in more detail, I have to be honest with you, the only thing which gives me hope is something very easy. The only 2 reasons of why Mourinho is here as the manager of this team, the 24th of July 2023, is 1, because of the affection of the fans and the love of the fans and how the fans view Mourinho. And the second reason has to be because the ownership gave him transfer window guarantees. That's the reason he's here. And it cannot happen that they would break these promises. And this is exactly what's keeping me very hopeful. The fact that Mourinho is here and that Mourinho got guarantees, otherwise he wouldn't be here. So I expect some guarantees to happen from now until the window closes. Otherwise, how the hell do you justify Mourinho being here? And that's the big hope, the big wish, the big wishful thinking that has kept me going in these past few weeks, where we literally had nothing related to Roma when it comes to transfer windows, apart from us selling a few interesting players, but again, not getting much money from those little deals. Shomurodov going to Cagliari, we don't get much money from that. Reynolds going to Belgium, not much money when it comes to that. This is why we have to sell Ibanez. Again, and I have to be very honest with you here. How on earth have we still not sold Ibanez? That is another mysterious question which I always ask myself every time I wake up. How on earth is Ibanez still on our team? Like I was on Instagram this morning, and I came across this post which said that Los Spezia, last season sold Polish defender Kiwior to Arsenal for 25 million. It is not possible that no Premier League team is willing to spend 25 million for Ibanez. Because under every law of power, every law of being biased, Ibanez is better than Kiwior. So if Arsenal spend 25 million for a Polish defender which barely ever started games, why can't any other Premier League team spend 25 million on Ibanez? And I will tell you why. Because we lack contacts in the Premier League. We lack collaborations with Premier League teams. The reason Lo Spezia sold Kiwior for 25 million to Arsenal is because their general director has a plentiful of contacts in the Premier League. Pinto lacks contacts in the Premier League. Because if we have contacts in the Premier League, Ibanez would have gone by a month now. It is not humanly possible that there are no offers coming for Ibanez. Ibanez is a good defender who could become a beast defender. Just because he missed those... just because he misspelt those 2 derbies, that means nothing. Ibanez had a very good season. So it is not possible that no team is willing to spend 25 million. That's why this is a mystery. There has to be something deeper than that. Maybe we're not good with contacts. Maybe we're not good in sharing names around. Because surely there's a team, maybe not even in the Premier League, but somewhere in the world which is willing to pay 25 million for Ibanez. And it can't be lower than that. It cannot be lower than that. If we sell Ibanez for less than 20 million, we are rat bags. Because Ibanez is not worth less than 20 million. And if we sell Ibanez for less than 20 million, we're absolute dickheads. Because that's us again losing money for a player which we could get way more money from. And that's the you see, if Ibanez gets sold, we will unlock the striker the day after. Because we already have an agreement with Scamacca. We're trying and almost getting closer and closer in convincing West Ham to open up for a loan. We just need that player to leave right now. And that's exactly why, that's exactly the way you explain this transfer delay striker. Because Ibanez still hasn't left. If Ibanez had left, we would have a striker by now. And that's my justification on this. Again, Ibanez plays for the Brazilian national team, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I know he's not a starter, but Ibanez has been called up by the Brazilian national team. The Brazilian national team is better than the Polish national team, with all due respect. So, why can't we get 20 or more million for Roger Ibanez when Los Spezia sold one of their defenders for 25 million? And that's the analogy which I make. Because it is not possible that Ibanez is still in our team. We've basically... how do you say this? We have kind of identified him as the sacrificable one. We've understood this. Ibanez is going to be the one who hypothetically leaves. So anybody who doesn't want Ibanez to leave, I'm sorry to say, if there's anybody who leaves right now, it's him. We've decided it's him. Pinto and Mourinho's decided it's him. So we have to speed up us selling him. Because if we don't sell him, I don't see us unlocking the striker anytime soon. And I really hope I'm wrong here, but that's what I'm gathering from other people. Maybe the Scamacca loan move will happen even if we don't sell him, but we will definitely not buy any other players in terms of giving money to other teams if Ibanez doesn't leave. I don't know. It's a tough stage in the transfer window. It's a stage where I've got so many questions to ask. But who do I ask these questions to? So, yeah. They don't want to pay that much because he's left. Yeah, I understand he's got 1 year left, and that is a fair point. But again, we should not be asking less than 20 million for, how old is he? 22 years old? 23 years old? Player who has been called up by the Brazilian national team and is coming from a successful season. Realistically speaking, he's coming from a successful season. He gifted our opponents 6/9 points, and I will be very honest there. But apart from those 2-3 games, he was spot on this season. So, look, he is, especially in this world of football where teams are willing to pay 300 million for Mbappe, Ibanez is surely worth 20 million. It's surely, especially right now, especially in 2023 where their circulation of money is immense. No, we are going to get a striker. We are going to get a striker. Pinnacle, Goblet Pinnacle. We are going to get one. The question is when we're going to get one. That's the question. It's not are we going to get one. We are going to get one. The question is when we're going to get a striker. Milan are making crazy moves. That's what happens when you've got players who've got interests worldwide. This is another problem in our team. The reason why we lack funds is because the market of our players is very, very low. And I don't blame teams. I don't blame any team. Because if Monchi and Pinto in the past have been rat bags to have paid 18 million for Shomurodov or 8 million for Reynolds, we obviously are going to sell these players for less than what we got them for. So I don't blame other teams for not being interested in our players, because our players have zero market worldwide, and that's another reason of our delays. Dybala's too sensitive. He misses up to 4 games out of 10 at least. He is sensitive, but we wouldn't be here without Dybala. So I really don't understand people who don't appreciate Dybala. He is very sensitive when it comes to fitness, and I agree with everybody here. But people who just are unappreciative of Dybala, God forbid them, because how it's not possible to not be grateful for Paulo Dybala. Ifoza Isaac or Waze, thank you very much for the €2.49. Thank you very much, mate. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Not very good with them, but yeah. Thank you very much for the support, mate. I wouldn't sell Ibanez this season. Well, if we don't sell Ibanez this season, we're not going to get big players. We're not going to get a striker. We're not going to spend money. Let's put it like that. We are in a position where if Ibanez doesn't leave, we don't spend money, and that's the realistic side of our transfer window right now. This is exactly how we unlock this window, by selling Ibanez. So if we don't sell Ibanez, then we can't expand us. We can't expand us. We can't expect us. That's the position we're in. I know people don't like this system that we've fallen in, but face it, we are in this. We're in this well. We're in this black hole of transfer windows. Whether you like it or not, whether you hate it, whether you criticize the owners and Thiago Pinto and all of that, criticize the team, face it. There is nothing we can do about it. Past ownerships have been catastrophic to this team. And we are still we are rebuilding a city with the ruins of a broken city. How's that possible? How do you build a new city with the ruins of an old city? With consumed bricks, with broken bricks. That's exactly what we're in. And I hate to admit it, but we are in this. And there is nothing we can do about it. There is really no thing we can do about this. Because yeah, I mean it's bad, but we gotta face it. Anyways, I'm gonna catch you tomorrow. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for the support tonight. Please smash the like button if you haven't already. It's a road to 10k, so everybody subscribe if you're new. Share the link of this channel with your families and friends. And while you're there, also click that thumbs up. It supports this community, which everybody's made up of a lot, so please do it before leaving the stream. Also, if you're in need of finding an Instagram page which posts daily news about Roma, with good posts, with those cool posts about all things Roma related to this team, click the link in the description below and go follow I Romanisti on Instagram. Great fan page of this team, and yeah, as I said before, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Simo out. Hopefully, I'm not gonna say it. I've said it too many times now, and it hasn't happened. I'm not gonna say it, but you get the point. Striker in this week. See you.